We had the conversation yesterday, the three of us, before this announcement. Of course, now we have the result. Austin, your reaction, please.
Well, I'm disappointed in the result in itself, but I think the first thing we should make clear is that it's not the Lord Justices on the court that are to blame for the judgment. All they're doing is interpreting the law, and we should fundamentally respect their position on that. Secondly, one of the good things that I can take from it is it takes away the myth that the UK is a voluntary union. It would appear that the people of Scotland, despite consistently voting against a Conservative government, now it would appear that they're trying to block our opportunity to leave it, which would suggest to me that now Scotland is in a position where it's being governed without consent, which is very concerning.
OK, Brian, over to you. Scotland is being governed without consent. What do you make of that?
Well, I think it's absolutely laughable, if not actually dangerous. What Austin and other nationalists like him want to suggest is somehow that this is about the Tories. Well, let me remind Austin and all the other nationalists listening in that, in fact, when there was an election for the Scottish Parliament in Holyrood, which I was a former member of, the vote was 50.4% for the Unionist parties, them being the Tories, Labour and Liberal Democrats, and only 49% for the SNP and Greens. So, in fact, the democracy, the statement, the belief of the Scottish people was that they would prefer government by one or a merger of those three parties. Certainly on the issue of the referendum, there was no support, because even Nicola Sturgeon herself said those against a referendum, those against independence, could still vote SNP. There is no question about democracy or a mandate. What is shown here by the decision, unanimous decision of the court, is that even a consultative referendum cannot be delivered by the Scottish Parliament without the agreement of the Westminster government.
Austin, in some way, is this what Nicola Sturgeon will want now? Because she doesn't have to convince the Scottish people to vote in the referendum. She can just use this as a stick to beat Rishi Sunak with, to demonstrate that the Scottish people are not represented by Westminster.
I just have to correct Mr Monteith from one point. If you look at the regional list vote in 2021, pro-independence parties got over 50% of the vote. So I'm not entirely sure where he's getting those figures from, but I thought I would correct the record. No, this is not what Nicola Sturgeon would have wanted. We would have wanted to have had a referendum in the timetable that we set out. Unfortunately, that is not an option, but it is not the only option that we have for the people of Scotland to have their say. Nicola Sturgeon will be setting that out in her statement at 11:30. But what this will do is it will create a sense of urgency. It will ignite the independence movement. We're going to see demonstrations in every single major city in Scotland at 5:30 tonight. And the people of Scotland and their voice will not be ignored. The people of Scotland democratically elected a Scottish Parliament that's pro-independence. The majority of Scottish MPs at Westminster support independence. The majority of Scottish people reject the Tories and reject their government. And now what the Supreme Court have done is they've said that we can't leave a government that Scotland hasn't voted for without their permission. So Scotland is now being governed without consent. It is extremely concerning. It's an affront to democracy. And the people of Scotland will take to the streets to defend their civil liberties and their right to a democratic path to independence.